everybody, and welcome back to my continuation of my book reading of The Time Machine. Chapter 3, Forwards in Time. I told some of you last Thursday how the time machine works, and showed you the actual thing itself, incomplete in the laboratory. It is there now, a little damaged by travel, but not in bad condition. I expected to finish it on Friday, but when I had put most of it together, I found that one piece was too short. I had to make it again, and the thing wasn't complete until this morning. So at 10 o'clock today, the first of all time machines began its journey. I checked everything, then got into the seat. I felt a little frightened, but interested in what was going to happen next. I took the starting lever in one hand and the stopping one in the other. Then I pressed the first and almost immediately the second. I felt that I was falling, but looking around, I saw the laboratory exactly as before. Had anything happened? For a moment I thought that my mind had tricked me. Then I noticed the clock. A moment before, it had shown a minute or two past 10. Now it was nearly 3:30. I took a breath, held the starting lever with both hands, and pushed it harder. The laboratory became unclear and went dark. Mrs. Watchett, my cook, came in and walked, without seeing me, towards the garden door. I suppose it took her a minute or two to cross the room, but she seemed to move at high speed. I pressed the lever over to its furthest position. The night came, and in another moment came tomorrow. The laboratory grew faint and unclear. Tomorrow night became black, then day again, night again, then day again, faster and faster. A low and changing sound filled my ears, and my mind became confused. As my speed increased, night followed day faster and faster. The faint picture of the laboratory seemed soon to move away from me, and I saw the sun jumping quickly across the sky. Once every minute, each minute being a day. I supposed that the laboratory had been destroyed, and I had come into the open air. The quick changes of darkness, the light, were very painful to my eyes. Then in the short dark times, I saw the moon turning quickly to her quarters from new to full. Soon, as I continued, still increasing speed, the change from night to day became one continuous grayness. The sky turned a wonderful deep blue. The jumping sun became a line of fire, the moon a fainter line that changed in white. The land was difficult to see clearly. I was still on the hillside where this house now stands. I saw trees growing and changing. They changed from green to brown, and back to green again. Grew tall, died, and fell. I saw enormous buildings rise up, then disappear like dreams. The speed dials on the machine went round faster and faster. The line of the sun moved up and down from summer to winter in a minute or less. Minute by minute, white snow spread across the world and disappeared. I was followed by the green of spring. The unpleasant feeling at the beginning now changed into a kind of crazy excitement. I noticed a strange movement by the machine from side to side, which I couldn't explain, but my mind was too confused to pay any attention to it. So with a kind of madness growing in me, I threw myself into the future. At first, I didn't think of stopping. But then a new feeling grew in my mind, a sense of fear mixed with the need to know. What strange changes had happened to people? What wonderful improvements to our simple way of life might appear when I looked more closely into that world? I saw large and wonderful buildings growing in front of me, bigger than ours. I saw a stronger green color move up the hillside and stay there without any interruption by snow. Although I was traveling so quickly, the world still seemed beautiful, and so my mind turned to stopping the machine. My greatest fear was that there would already be something in the space when I or the machine stopped. While I traveled at high speed through time, this didn't matter much. It seemed to move like a gas through other things, but when I stopped, I would put myself into whatever lay in my way. Such close contact with the other things might cause a great explosion. I had thought of this possibility again and again while I was making the machine. But then I had cheerfully accepted it as one of the necessary dangers that a man must face. I wasn't as cheerful now when I couldn't escape it. The strangeness of everything, the movement of the machine, and the feeling of continually falling had made me very nervous. I told myself that I could never stop. Then, becoming suddenly angry, I decided to stop immediately. Like a fool in a hurry, I pulled over the lever. The machine turned over and I was thrown into the air. There was a sound of thunder in my ears. For a moment, I forgot what was happening. Then I found myself sitting on soft grass in front of the machine. Heavy rain was falling. Everything seemed still gray. But soon I noticed that the confusion in my ears was gone. I looked around me, and I was on a small lawn surrounded by bushes. Their purple flowers were dropping under the beating of the heavy rain. In a moment, I was wet to the skin. A fine welcome, I thought, to a man who had traveled so many years to see you. Soon I stood up and looked around me. Through the heavy rain, I could see an enormous figure, cut, perhaps out of white stone, but the rest of the world was unclear. As the rain became lighter, I saw the white figure more clearly. It was very large. A tree touched its shoulders. It was shaped a little like a sphinx, with spread wings, and seemed to be flying. The pedestal seemed to be made of metal and had turned green with age. I stood looking at the figure for some time. When at last I took my eyes from it for a moment, I saw that the rain was stopping and the sky became lighter. When I suddenly realized the full danger of my journey, what might appear when the rain stopped. What might people be like? Had they perhaps turned into something inhumane and very strong? I might seem like an old world wild animal, but more frightened because I looked like them. A horrible creature, to be speed likely killed. Already I saw the shapes of enormous buildings, and a wooded hillside growing clearer through the dying storm. I turned quickly to the time machine, and tried hard to turn it on the right way up. As I did so, the grey rain suddenly stopped, and the sun shone through the clouds. My fear grew stronger, and I fought hard with the machine. It moved under my attack and turned over. It hit my chin violently, one hand on the seat, the other hand on the lever. I stood breathing heavily, ready to climb inside it again. But now I had a way of escaping. My confidence recovered. I looked with more interest and less fear at this world of the future. In a round opening high up in the wall of the nearest building, I saw a group of figures wearing soft robes. They had seen me, and their faces were turned towards me. Then I heard voices coming nearer. Through the bushes I saw the heads and shoulders of running men. One of these appeared on a path leading straight to the lawn where I stood. He was quite thin, just over a meter high, wearing only a long purple shirt tied at its waist with a leather belt. Noticing that, I realized for the first time how warm the air was. He seemed to be very beautiful, but also very weak, and at the sight of him, my confidence returned. So I took my hands from the machine. And that was the end of Chapter 3. Forward in Time. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.